Blake Lively gets burned while getting caught up in some mess once again, and she's in an absolute free fall. Now, this whole Blake Lively versus Justin Baldoni mess just, basically took another wild turn. And I mean, it's getting downright crazy if you ask me. You see, Blake Lively has now brought in a former CIA operative. Yes, you heard that right. A literal former intelligence officer for crisis PR management. So, I mean, it's no surprise. That's the CIA right there. Now, why would Blake Lively do that? I mean, simple, because Blake Lively's public image is an absolute free fall, as I've said before. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I remember when this whole crisis PR thing was all the rage during the whole Johnny Depp and Amber Heard trial and everything, right? As y'all remember, where Johnny Depp won that trial, and Amber had to get the best crisis management firm money could buy to try and salvage what was left of her reputation. And let's be real, that didn't even work out well for her, did it? And now we see Blake Lively here is going the same route. Now it reeks of desperation, pure and simple. But let's just be honest here. You see, call a spade a spade. Blake Lively is not coming back from this. Not a chance at all. I mean, Blake Lively is just suing and being sued at the same time. That's never a good look right there. And now we also see that Blake Lively is bringing in Nick Shapiro, a former CIA deputy chief of staff, to run damage control for her. Now, what does that tell us exactly? It tells me that, Blake Lively knows she's in deep trouble. Now, you just don't bring in a guy like that unless you're trying to go ahead and handle something big. Like, really big. Now, one of Lively's legal team members confirmed that, the hiring of this individual, saying that Shapiro is here to handle, quote, legal communication strategy. That's just a fancy way of saying, help, make me look good. But here's the weird part. Why exactly does Blake, a Hollywood actress, need someone with deep government intelligence connections, whatever you want to call it, for a lawsuit in the Southern District of New York? I mean, if you ask me, that doesn't necessarily add up, let alone scream a matter of confidence. Now, Shapiro's background is in handling national crises. And we're talking about major events like the Boston Marathon bombing, the Gulf oil spill, as you all might remember, and even the cybersecurity threats. And yet, here he is now handling Lively's PR. Now, tell me that's not bizarre. But what is Lively actually hiding? Now, what's Lively trying to go ahead and keep from coming out? Because this isn't just, a normal Hollywood crisis PR. This is next level hush government tier damage control. And the public isn't buying it at all. You see, Lively has, a new movie coming out with Amazon Prime, as you all know, and they dropped the trailer recently, and it got obliterated with dislikes. I mean, we're talking about over 11,000, if not 13,000 dislikes to 6,900 or 8,000 likes. And yes, that's brutal right there. But here's the best part. Amazon Prime actually disabled those comments, as I've reported before. Now, that tells you everything. They knew that people were going to roast Lively, so they just decided to go ahead and shut it all down. And let me remind you, Amazon didn't really even turn the comments off for the Rings of Power and stuff, and that show was a huge disaster. But what about this? I mean, they caved. You think that was their decision, or do you think that Blake Lively was demanding it? I mean, yeah, I've got my suspicions. Let me know your suspicions in the comments below. Now, back to the lawsuits at hand. You see, this thing is a huge mess, as we all know. We got multiple lawsuits, counter lawsuits, accusations, defamation claims. I mean, at this point, it's definitely all over the place. And Blake Lively first accused Baldoni of misconduct and running a smear campaign against her. And then Baldoni and his team sued the New York Times for $250 million, a bunch of money right there, claiming they were in on it. And then Blake Lively turned around and sued Baldoni and others for retaliation. And then, get this, Baldoni fired back with a $400 million lawsuit against Blake Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, accusing them of civil extortion and defamation. And if that wasn't enough, a Texas-based entrepreneur is now suing Lively for falsely accusing him of running an online harassment campaign. And guess what? Baldoni's former publicist is suing both him and his PR firm for a breach of contract. I mean, it's just like I said, lawsuit after lawsuit, and no one can keep up with it all. And that's no surprise right there, because usually this is how stuff works in Hollywood. But at the end of the day, this all boils down to one thing: damage control. Lively knows her reputation is sinking fast. Lively tried to go ahead and get protective orders to keep certain information from going public. And now we see Blake is even targeting independent content creators, trying to go ahead and just shut them down for talking about the case. I mean, that's funny, isn't it? You see, Lively is just accusing Baldoni of controlling the media, but now Lively is trying to do the same thing with YouTubers and TikTokers. Now, the hypocrisy is off the charts right here, and that's no surprise right here. Now, Blake Lively went from a beloved actress to one of Hollywood's biggest PR disasters in just a few months, mind you. And now Blake Lively is pulling every string that Blake Lively can, including bringing in a CIA connected crisis managers to try and fix it. But guess what? So far, it's not working. And Blake Lively's entire Hollywood career is now hanging by a thread. I mean, every single move she makes is scrutinized, and instead of just simply fixing music, Lively is just trying to go ahead and silence people. Now, it's major damage control at its worst, but the public isn't that stupid. You see, people can see right through this, and Blake Lively might have the power to pull strings in Hollywood, but she can't make people forget everything that's come out, okay? Because it's all a reminder of cases that happened before with different people. But the more Blake Lively fights this, the worse it gets for her. And bringing in a crisis PR expert with government ties, I mean, that just right there simply raises even more questions. But what does Blake Lively really not want us to know? I mean, what exactly is an information that Blake Lively is so desperate to keep buried that she needs an ex-CIA guy running interference, okay? But let's be real. At this point, Blake Lively is just simply fighting a losing battle. The lawsuits are piling up. The audience is turning against her, and more importantly, even Hollywood is starting to distance itself. And with all the chaos at this point, it really makes us all wonder: how much longer can Blake Lively keep this particular act up? So, as usual, let me know your thoughts about this in the comments below. Also, be sure to include any additional details or thoughts you might have on this particular topic. If you enjoyed what was shared in this video, go ahead and smash the like button, share the video far wide across social media. And if you haven't done so already and you enjoyed all the content that I put out there, go ahead, subscribe to the channel, click the bell notification so that way you'll be notified of future uploads and updates. Till then, peace.